Commander Krel Zorix stood on the command deck of the Sovereign Fist, his mandibles clicking with barely contained excitement. His 37 warships hung in the darkness of space like predatory fish, their sleek hulls gleaming under the light of an unfamiliar sun. Before them lay the human colony of Nova Haven, a collection of domes and structures that seemed pathetically small against the vast planetary landscape. "Look at them, Vex," Krel said, gesturing to the tactical display. "These humans build their colonies like children playing with blocks in a sandbox. Did our intelligence division really suggest we bring the entire 7th Fleet for this?" Vex Lumina, his tactical officer, nodded respectfully. The Council insisted, "Commander. The reports about human defensive capabilities are contradictory." Krel snorted, a harsh sound that made junior officers flinch at nearby stations. "Contradictory? Please. 37 warships against one human defense vessel? I've fought training simulations more threatening." The bridge crew laughed nervously. The Garaxian Empire had conquered 17 species in the last cycle, adding their territories and technologies to the ever-expanding borders. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, their colonies few and scattered. "Put me through to all ships," Krel ordered, puffing out his armored chest. "Fleet Commander Krel Zorix to all vessels. Today we add another trophy to the Empire's collection. Our scans confirm minimal defenses. 1 ship. Can you believe it? 1. This will be over before midday meal. Prepare all weapon systems and target the colony's central hub." The communication officer, Drem Torque, raised a tentacle. "Sir, should we attempt contact first? The Galactic Accords require." "The Accords?" Krel interrupted with a dismissive wave. "Did the Accords help the Nelvarians when we took their homeworld? This is war, Torque, not a diplomatic dinner. Begin the assault." The fleet moved forward in perfect formation, weapon systems humming to life. Long-range bombardment began, green energy streaking toward the colony below. Explosive impacts dotted the surface, sending plumes of dust into the atmosphere. "Strange," Vex muttered, studying her console. "The colony's shields are absorbing far more energy than predicted. And their defensive response is minimal." Krel frowned. "Where is their ship? Hiding behind the moon?" "No, sir. It's just sitting there in orbit. Powered down. It hasn't moved since we arrived." The bridge fell silent. In every previous engagement, enemy ships had either fled or attacked immediately. This stillness was unsettling. "They're playing dead," Krel decided, slapping his armored fist against the railing. "A primitive trick. Continue the bombardment." As if responding to his command, the lone human vessel suddenly flared to life. Its previously dark hull began to glow with pulsing blue energy patterns. The ship's designation appeared on their scanners, HSS Defiant. "Finally!" Krel exclaimed. "Now we'll see some action." "Prepare to," he stopped mid-sentence. The human ship wasn't retreating to safety or moving to protect the colony. Instead, it was turning directly toward the Garaxian fleet, accelerating with surprising speed. "Sir," Vex said, her voice suddenly tight with concern. "The human vessel is on an intercept course." 1 ship against 37? Krel laughed, but his laughter sounded hollow even to his own ears. "They're either brave or suicidal." The Defiant continued its approach, showing no signs of hesitation. "Sir," Drem called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel." "Oh? Let's hear their surrender terms," Krel said, trying to sound confident despite the strange unease growing in his gut. A calm human voice filled the bridge. "Attention, Garaxian fleet. This is Captain Eliza Blackwood of the HSS Defiant. You have entered restricted human space and engaged in hostile action. We suggest you reconsider." Krel stared at the tactical display, watching as the single human ship continued its direct approach toward his 37 warships. What kind of species sends one ship against a fleet? Krel's initial amusement faded as he watched the human vessel approach. No evasive maneuvers, no erratic course changes to avoid targeting systems, just a direct, unwavering approach that defied conventional battle tactics. "Sir, perhaps we should reconsider," said Tala Mex, his second-in-command, stepping forward from her monitoring station. Unlike Krel's bulky frame, Tala was lithe and calculating, her 4 eyes constantly scanning multiple data feeds simultaneously. "Our intelligence on human military capabilities is woefully incomplete. The Council's report specifically flagged their technology as unpredictable." Krel waved a dismissive hand. "Are you suggesting I should fear one ship because of some bureaucrat's cautionary footnote? The Empire doesn't become great through hesitation, Tala." The tactical display updated as the Defiant closed to medium range. Suddenly, a strange ripple emanated from the human vessel, visible as a distortion in space like heat waves over desert sand. "What in the 7 moons is that?" Krel demanded. Before anyone could answer, alarms blared across the bridge. On the tactical display, 5 Garaxian warships in the forward squadron suddenly went dark, their power signatures vanishing. "Squadron 8 is reporting complete power failure," Drem shouted, his tentacles flying over the communications array. "Squadron 3 as well. Ships are drifting. Impossible." Krel slammed his fist on the command console. "Nothing can penetrate our shielding that quickly." Tala's voice was calm but urgent. "Sir, the human ship is broadcasting again." Captain Blackwood's voice returned, still unnervingly composed. "Garaxian command vessel, we have temporarily disabled your forward squadrons with targeted EMP bursts. This technology is specifically calibrated to your ship's frequency signatures. We've been studying your fleet movements for 7 years. This is your final opportunity to withdraw." 7 years? Krel's inner membranes fluttered in surprise. The Garaxian Empire had only discovered human existence 3 years ago. "It's a bluff," he growled, though doubt had begun to gnaw at his confidence. "All functional vessels, concentrate fire on that ship. Maximum power to forward batteries." 20 remaining warships unleashed devastating energy beams at the lone human vessel. The space around the Defiant lit up like a newborn star, but when the glare subsided, the ship remained intact, its hull now pulsing with the same energy that had been directed at it. "Their shields," Vex whispered, "they're not just deflecting our weapons, they're absorbing the energy. Power levels on the human vessel are increasing." Tala stepped closer, her voice low. "Commander, the humans knew exactly which frequencies would disable our ships. They've been watching us, studying us, preparing for this moment while we dismissed them as primitive." Krel's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation among his kind. "No species should have this level of technological advantage. Not without us knowing." "Sir," Drem interrupted, "the Defiant is deploying something. Thousands of small objects. Too small for conventional weapons." The viewscreen magnified to show a cloud of metallic specks emerging from the human ship, spreading outward like a glittering mist. "What are those?" Krel demanded, a note of fear finally entering his voice. Tala's answer was barely audible. "I believe, Commander, we're about to find out." Chaos erupted across the Garaxian fleet as the glittering cloud made contact with their ships. Warning sirens blared throughout the Sovereign Fist, nearly drowning out the panicked reports flooding the command deck. Weapons systems failing across all squadrons. Vex shouted, her usual composure shattered. "The particles are penetrating our hulls somehow. Seal all compartments. Activate emergency barriers." Krel ordered, but the command console under his 6-fingered hands flickered and died. Around the bridge, systems shut down one by one. In that moment of growing darkness, Krel remembered something, a report he dismissed months ago. An ancient warning found in the archives of the Nelvarians, a species the Garaxians had conquered, beware the humans. They fight not to conquer but to end all threats. One conflict was enough. The emergency lights bathed the bridge in an eerie red glow. Through the viewport, Krel watched in horror as the Defiant moved methodically through the fleet, targeting ship after ship with precision beams that left them intact but completely powerless. "They're not destroying us," Tala observed, her voice a mixture of fear and fascination. "They could, but they're choosing not to." The communications system crackled unexpectedly back to life. But it wasn't Captain Blackwood this time. "Attention Garaxian Invasion Force. This is Admiral Jackson of Earth Central Command. The HSS Defiant has performed admirably in holding you at bay. However, I should inform you that our actual defense fleet will arrive in approximately 3 minutes. I suggest you prepare for formal surrender proceedings." Krel felt the blood drain from his face. "Actual defense fleet? Then what is this ship?" "Sir," Drem reported, checking a backup scanner, "the nanobots are systematically disabling our technology. They're not destroying it, they're studying it. Taking it apart piece by piece and sending data back to the Defiant." "Jump drives," Krel barked. "We need to retreat immediately. Gather all functional ships and prepare for emergency withdrawal." Tala moved to a still-functioning secondary console. "Commander, you need to see this. I've accessed their colony database. Nova Haven isn't a settlement, it's a research outpost. They've been testing defensive systems here for decades. The Defiant is their prototype vessel." "Prototype?" Krell's mandibles went slack. "You mean they have more advanced ships than this?" "Sir," Vex interrupted, her voice barely a whisper. "Long-range scanners are detecting spatial distortions. Multiple signatures." The view screen flickered back to life just in time to show the fabric of space tearing open in a dozen places around the Garaxian fleet. Through these swirling vortices emerged ships that dwarfed even the Sovereign Fist, massive, sleek vessels with the same pulsing blue energy patterns as the Defiant, but on a scale that made Krell's heart stutter in his chest. As the human defense fleet surrounded them, Krel finally understood the true magnitude of his mistake. The Defiant hadn't been alone because humans were weak. It had been alone because that was all they needed. The shuttle bay of the human flagship Columbia dwarfed anything Krel had seen before. As he walked down the corridor flanked by 2 silent human guards, his once proud posture was now hunched with the weight of defeat. His remaining officers, including Tala, followed behind. Captain Eliza Blackwood waited in the conference room, standing rather than sitting at the large oval table. She was surprisingly small for a being capable of such devastation, barely reaching Krell's chest, yet her presence filled the room more completely than any Garaxian war chief. "Commander Zorix," she said, extending a hand in the human greeting gesture. "I appreciate your decision to surrender without further loss of life." Krel reluctantly touched his claw to her hand. "Did I have a choice? Your nanobots left my ships dead in space." "There's always a choice," Blackwood replied, motioning for them to sit. "You could have self-destructed your vessels, tried a suicidal counterattack. We've seen both before. Instead, you chose to save your people. That gives us somewhere to start." Admiral Jackson entered, carrying a small device that he placed on the table. It projected a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy with highlighted sectors. "This," Jackson said, pointing to a tiny portion of the map, "is what your intelligence believes to be human territory. And this," the map expanded dramatically, revealing hundreds of systems across multiple spiral arms, "is the actual extent of human space." Krell's inner membranes fluttered in shock. "Impossible. We would have detected such expansion." "Not if we didn't want you to," Blackwood said simply. "We're not conquerors, Commander. We're explorers and traders by nature. But our history taught us harsh lessons about being unprepared." Jackson nodded. "Our philosophy is simple: prepare for the worst, hope for the best. We develop defensive capabilities beyond what we think we'll need, then work tirelessly for peaceful solutions that mean we never have to use them. Tala leaned forward. But you gave no warning before we entered your space. Actually, Blackwood swiped at a tablet, bringing up diplomatic communications. We sent 17 warnings to your government over the past year. All were classified as low priority by your military intelligence. We even established a research outpost at Nova Haven specifically because it borders your territory, to study peaceful coexistence with your species. Krel felt sick. The warnings had likely been buried by ambitious officials seeking glory through conquest. Why didn't you destroy us? He asked. You clearly could have. Because that's not who we are, Blackwood answered. Our policy is non-lethal neutralization when possible. Death is rarely necessary to end a conflict, just a clear demonstration of superior capability and the resolve to use it if pushed. Over the next hour, Krel was shown technologies that defied Garaxian understanding, energy systems that drew power from dimensional rifts, propulsion that bent space itself, and defensive systems that adapted to any weapon. What happens now? Krel finally asked. Now, Jackson said, we negotiate. Peace terms, trade agreements, cultural exchanges. And you, Commander, will return to your homeworld as an ambassador with a message. 3 months later, Krel stood before the Garaxian High Command, his new diplomatic insignia gleaming on his chest. They could have destroyed us all with that single ship, he concluded his report, watching the stunned faces of his leaders. They chose not to. That makes them more terrifying than any species we've ever encountered. Not because of their weapons, but because of their restraint. The humans don't want our territory or resources, they want something far more valuable, a galaxy where different species can coexist without constant warfare. And after what I've seen, I believe they might actually achieve it. With or without us.